On October 31, 2025, global politics was rocked by a stunning announcement from Seoul. South Korea abruptly halted a $350 billion economic and technology partnership with the United States. This deal, the Pacific Century Partnership, was to be the linchpin of America's Asia strategy and a signature achievement for former President Donald Trump. The sudden reversal left Washington and Wall Street reeling. The agreement was designed to integrate U.S. and South Korean tech sectors, focusing on AI, semiconductors, and green energy. Months of assurances vanished overnight, replaced by silence from the White House. The implications are enormous. This isn't just a financial blow, but a seismic shift in East Asian geopolitics. For decades, South Korea was a reliable U.S. ally. Now, that certainty is gone. The move raises urgent questions about American influence in a region where China's power is surging. Behind the scenes, the story is one of mounting pressure and shifting loyalties. China viewed the partnership as a direct threat and launched a relentless campaign to undermine it. Beijing saw the deal as an American attempt to box China out, with South Korea as a key player. As details emerge, it's clear China's mix of economic incentives and subtle threats tipped the scales in Seoul. The Pacific Century Partnership was born from a bold vision in early 2024. Former President Trump saw it as his legacy, a U.S.-South Korea economic bloc to counter China's rise. The planned massive joint investments in future tech, new semiconductor foundries in the U.S., and AI research hubs. For America, it promised secure supply chains and a tech boom. For South Korea, access to the U.S. market and a leap to global tech leadership. Politically, it was meant to show the world that the U.S.-South Korea alliance was modern and dynamic, not just a relic of the Cold War. Trump touted it as the biggest, best deal, anchoring South Korea firmly in the Western camp. Negotiations were upbeat, with both sides eager to finalize terms. South Korean President Yoon staked his political future on the partnership, seeing it as vital for security and prosperity. Delegations shuttled between Washington and Seoul, hammering out details. The global tech community watched, ready to seize new opportunities. The deal was set to redefine the region's economic landscape. But beneath the optimism, few anticipated the dramatic turn ahead. The stakes were high, and the world was watching. The partnership was poised to reshape alliances, until it all unraveled. No one foresaw just how quickly things would change. In Beijing, the Pacific Century Partnership was seen as a direct challenge. China viewed it not as an economic deal, but as a strategic move to contain its rise. Quietly, Chinese diplomats began high-level talks with South Korean officials. They reminded Seoul that China is its largest trading partner, and hinted at the risks of siding too closely with the U.S. The message: South Korea's prosperity depends on China, not confrontation. China's economic leverage is immense. Its companies buy Korean semiconductors, cars, and goods. Subtle warnings about regulatory hurdles and lost tourism created anxiety among Korean leaders. Chinese state media amplified the risks, warning that the U.S. deal would make South Korea a pawn in Washington's game. Instead, they promoted a vision of Asian economic harmony with China at the center. This multi-pronged strategy sowed doubt in Seoul. The pressure was quiet, but relentless. China's campaign made South Korea question whether the U.S. partnership was worth the risk. The seeds of doubt had been planted. China's approach shifted from subtle pressure to irresistible incentives. Beijing offered South Korea a sweeping free trade agreement, granting access to China's vast market. The proposal included fast-tracked investments, joint tech development, and increased imports of Korean goods. For South Korea's corporate giants, Samsung, Hyundai, SK, the Chinese market was essential. Business leaders warned the government losing China would be catastrophic. The Chinese offer was immediate and concrete, while the U.S. deal promised long-term gains. Seoul faced an impossible choice: security with the U.S. or economic survival with China. Beijing framed the decision as practical economics, not loyalty. In the end, the economic reality was too powerful to ignore. China's shadow loomed large, and Seoul stepped back from the U.S. deal. Seoul's final decision came after intense internal debate. Security officials warned that abandoning the US deal would weaken South Korea's defenses and global standing. Economic leaders countered with stark projections. A trade war with China would devastate the export-driven economy. The Chinese offer was seen as a lifeline, growth, stability, and a central role in Asia's future. Public debate erupted, with protests against deeper US alignment and fears of a new Cold War. The government was squeezed between international commitments and domestic pressures. Ultimately, economic arguments prevailed. The official announcement cited strategic prudence and the need for regional harmony. The message was clear. South Korea chose economic ties with Beijing over strategic partnership with Washington. It was a pragmatic, if painful, decision. The old certainties of alliance had given way to new realities. The world took notice. The news from Seoul hit Washington hard, especially at Mar-a-Lago. Former President Trump, who championed the deal, was furious, calling South Korea's move a total betrayal. He blamed both Seoul and the current administration for the collapse. The fallout was immediate. U.S.-South Korea relations entered a tense new phase. The collapse embarrassed the U.S. on the world stage, raising doubts about American leadership. Allies worldwide began to question Washington's reliability. The State Department and Pentagon scrambled to assess China's growing influence. For American tech, the loss meant vanished jobs and a setback in building secure supply chains. The episode exposed a critical vulnerability, underestimating China's economic power. Washington now faces a painful reckoning on how to compete in a world where economics rival military might. The debate over America's global strategy has only just begun. The collapse of the Pacific Century Partnership marks a turning point in global politics. The era of clear-cut alliances led by the US is fading. China now offers a compelling alternative, especially to its neighbors. Power is shifting from military might to economic leverage and tech dominance. China has shown it can achieve its goals without confrontation, using its market as both carrot and stick. Countries like South Korea must now balance security ties with the US against economic dependence on China. The future of alliances is fluid and transactional, not rigid or ideological. Nations may partner with the US on security, China on trade, and Europe on climate. For the US, this is a wake-up call. It must offer more than just security guarantees. The US-China rivalry will play out in boardrooms and labs, not just battlefields. The world faces a choice, a new Cold War, or a more balanced, complex order. Seoul's decision is a reminder: the future global order is unwritten. The choices nations make now will shape the decades to come.